Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Knowledge Over Grades. It's your math coach, Latrell Jackson, and today I'm going to be teaching you the box method of multiplication. I love this method because it helps us to focus on one operation at a time, multiplication then addition, instead of carrying over and regrouping, and it also helps us to see why multiplication of big numbers actually works. So, if you're ready to learn this method or be reminded of this method, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button and let's get started. Okay guys, so for the box method of multiplication, we're using the expanded form of each number, and we're writing our boxes based on the amount of digits that are in each number. So we're going to be doing 5 examples, a 1 digit by 2 digit example, 1 digit by 3 digits, 2 digits by 2 digits, 2 digits by 3 digits, and 3 digits by 3 digits. So you'll get to see a wide range of examples, okay? So here are the rules of the game, this multiplication game we're playing. You're going to draw group boxes with columns that match the digits of the first number and rows that match the digits of the second number, okay? That's the first rule. Second rule is write the first number in expanded form on top and the second number on the side of those boxes with each place value over a box, okay? And then multiply each top number by each side number, writing the product in the box where they meet. Okay, so expanded form, just remind you, say we have 712. 712 in expanded form is 700 plus 10 plus 2. Those are all, that number is expanded into the place values that they represent, okay? So for each box, we're going to have a place value. The 700 has a box, the 10 has a box, and the 2 has a box, okay? And then we have numbers on the side of that grouped set of group boxes. And when we multiply, so we have a number here and a number here, multiply them together, we're going to write that product or the answer of multiplication where they meet, in the box that they meet in, okay? You will see in a second. And then number 4, add all the products together. So let's get started. We are doing now a 1 by 2 example of the box method multiplication. So it doesn't really matter if we have a 1 by 2 or a 2 by 1. It's the same thing. That's the same as the commutative property for multiplication. If you multiply 1 by 2, it's the same as multiplying 2 by 1. It's still 2. 2 times 1 and 1 times 2 is 2. We are going to do 75 times 5. And this is a 2 by 1 because our 75 is 2 digits and our 5 is a 1 digit. So next we're going to draw our box. We can draw it this way or you can draw it long ways. I'd like to draw it this way for some reason. It's just my favorite way of drawing it. So we're going to write, since the row, we only have one row, that means that one row matches our 1 digit number, which is 5. And then we have 2 columns going down. So our 2 digit number is 75. And let's write our 75 in expanded form, and that's going to be 70 plus 5, okay? So we got our setup. Now we're going to multiply the top number by the side number. So 70 times 5, and we're going to write the product of that in the box. 70 times 5, let's look at 7 times 5 first. That may be a little easier to remember. 7 times 5 is 35. And now that we have that answer, we look at the 0 that our numbers have, and we just have 1 0. So we're just going to put that 0 right after the 35, which makes it 350, okay? Next, we're going to go to the next number, the ones place, and multiply 5 times that 1 digit number 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. We don't have any zeros, so that's it. And now we're going to add because that's what we do next. So 350 plus 25. And what I'm going to do here is use my backwards place value method for adding. And if you have not learned that yet, you can look at the video that I have linked in the card that's about to pop up. There is a video that I've created on how to add based on place value going backwards. So not right to left, but left to right. So check that out, and I'm actually about to do it right here. So we're going from left to right, and we're going to add our highest place value down. So 300 plus 0, there's no 100 number in the hundreds place for 25, it's just 0. So 300 plus 0 is 300. And then we're going to the next place value, 50 plus 20, okay? So 50 and 25. 50 plus 20 is 70. Now we're in the ones place. 0 plus 5 is 5. So as you see, I wrote them all out in their entirety. I didn't write just the 7 or just the 3. I wrote 370. Now we're going to add them down. So we don't have anything but zeros besides those specific numbers in their place value. So it's not like we have 7 plus 1, you just have 7 plus 0. So all we need to do is compress, or you can say pop the bubbles. And when you can pop the bubbles, that means that there are no other numbers. So we add down 3 plus 0, 7 plus 0, and 5 plus 0. Our answer is 375. There you go. And you can use your calculator to check it out, but this is the answer. Now we will try a 1-digit by 3-digit example, and I'm going to write it a different way, just so you can see that it doesn't matter which way you write it, in which order. So we're doing 379 times 2, okay? So we have a 3-digit number and a 2-digit number. Let's write it long ways. So before we did it the short way, we did it the long way, now we're doing it the tall way. So we have a 3-digit number, so we're going to draw 3 boxes. And then we have a 1-digit number, so we have 1 column. So 1 column for the 1-digit number and 3 rows for the 3-digit number, okay? So I'm going to write the 2 up here, and 379 expanded is 300 plus 70 plus 9, okay? Now we can start multiplying. We're going to multiply 2 by each one of these and write that product in each of the boxes that they correspond with. So we're doing 2 times 300. Let's simplify that real quick and do 2 times 3, which is 6. So 2 times 300 is 600, okay? Now let's do 2 times 70, or we can just do 2 times 7 for right now. 2 times 7 is 14. Then we add the 0, take the 0 on the end, and that is going to be 140. Last is 2 times 9, and that is 18, okay? Now we need to add. So you have to add all these numbers back together, and that will give us our total answer, our product of 379 times 2. So we're adding 600 plus 140 plus 18. Make sure we're lining up our place values. We're starting from the left, going to the right. In the leftmost column or place value, we have 600 plus 100. That's what that is. 600 plus 100 is 700. Now we're in the tens place, and we have 40 plus 10. That is 50. Okay? And then in the ones place, we have 0 plus 8, and that's just 8. Okay, so if we're looking, we have nothing but zeros besides the number that's in that place value, so we can go ahead and compress and pop the bubbles. And we'll end up with 758 or 758. Okay? Not too bad, not too bad. All right, now we're working on a 2 by 2 example of the box method, and this is going to be 12 times 71. Okay, now this is a 2 by 2, so we have 2 numbers with 2 digits. So our box is going to be 2 columns and 2 rows. Okay, So it doesn't matter which one you write on the side or which one you write on the top. I'm just going to write the 12 on the side and the 71 on top, just because I chose that randomly. Now we want to write it in expanded form. Don't forget that. So 12 is actually 10 plus 2. And 71 is actually 70 plus 1. Okay. Next is to multiply the top number to the side number, each one of them. So we got 70 times 10. We can do 7 times 1, and that's going to give us 7. And then we just put the zeros behind it. 0, 0, because we have 2 zeros, 1 for each number. So that 70 times 10 is actually 700, okay? Now let's do 70 times 2. We can do 7 times 2, that's 14, and then put that 0 from 70 right behind it. So that's 140, okay? Moving on to 1. 1 times 10 is 10. 1 times 2 is 2. And now we are adding everything up, adding everything up, okay? So we have 700. Let's try to keep our place values together. So 700, let's add another 100 place value. So 140 is a 100 place value. 10 is next, and then 2. All right, starting from left, going right. 700 plus 100 is 800. 10's place. 40 plus 10 is 50. And then 2 plus 0 is 2. All right, nothing but zeros besides our number and the place value, so let's pop those bubbles. 852. This is kind of fun. Okay, now we're doing a 2 by 3 or 3 by 2, whichever one you want to choose. And that's going to be 871 times 52. Okay, so I'm going to do it the long way this time and do, how many columns do you think I'm going to do? And how many rows? Well, if I'm doing it the long way, then that means I'm using the number with the most amount of digits on top, okay? So 871 expanded is 800 plus 70 plus 1, and I didn't write my boxes yet. And then I have a 2-digit number, so that means I need 2 rows, and that's going to be 50 plus 2 for 52, okay? So now let's get to multiplying. 800 times 50, simplify that and try 8 times 5, that is 40. And how many zeros are in the numbers that we just multiplied? We have 3 altogether, 1 from 50 and 2 from 800. So we had to put on 3 at the end. So that ends up being 40,000. Wow. Okay. Now let's do 800 times 2. 800 times 2, 8 times 2 is 16. So 800 times 2 is 1600. Use those 2 zeros from 800. Okay, by the way, I just want to also mention that it doesn't matter if down, then come back up to the next number, go down, then come back up to the next number and multiply down. Or you multiply across, then go down to the next number and multiply across. It does not matter at all. Okay, as long as you're multiplying correctly, that's the main thing. So let's next do 70 times 50, and that can be tackled simply by looking at 7 times 5, which is 35, and then we just put those zeros at the end. We have 2 zeros. Next, we can do 70 times 2. 7 times 2 is 114, so 70 times 2 is 140. And then 1 times anything is itself, so 1 times 50 is 50, 1 times 2 is 2. Cool, let's add. So we're adding everything up, adding. Add it all up. All right, so we are doing, let's start with the biggest number first. Make sure we line up our place values because we got a whole bunch of place values in this situation. So we got 40,000, okay? What's the next biggest number? Well, the next biggest place value is the thousands place because we got 1,600 and 3,500. So let's add those next. And 3,500. And these are commas. These are not decimals. And the next biggest place value is 100ths place. So that's represented in 140. So we're going to add 140. Then we have the next biggest place value, which is the tens place. And then the next is ones place too. So we added 50 and then we added 2. All right, we're still adding from left to right, guys. So our leftmost place value is actually the 10,000ths place, which the number 4 is in the 10,000ths place, so 40,000. There is no other number in the 10,000ths place, so we're just going to bring down or add down 40,000 because we just added 0 to that. Next, we're adding in the 1,000ths place. 1,000 plus 3,000 gives us 4,000. And then in the hundreds place, 600 plus 500 plus 100, that gives us 1,200. So 1,200 actually looks like this. Whenever you have a number that possesses more than 3 digits, you can start writing commas after those 3 digits, okay? So our 1 is in the 1,000ths place. So we're going to write that 1 under 4 because that's the thousands place, and then that 200. Next is the tens place. We have 40 plus 50, which is 90, and then the ones place, which is just 0 plus 2. Okay, so I'm going to take the next step up here, and we're going to continue adding from left to right down, okay? So we got 40,000, and we have in the thousands place, 4 plus 1, or 4,000 plus 1,000, which gives us 5,000. Our goal is to have nothing but zeros or bubbles in our place values besides the actual number in that place value. So that's why we are adding from left to right again. Then we have 0 plus 2 in the hundreds place, so we have 200. And then our 9 in the tens place, 90 in the tens place, and 2 in the ones place. So now we have nothing but zeros in the place values except for those numbers, and we can just add down, compress, and pop the bubbles. So we'll have 45,292 as our answer. Cool. Now you can, if you want to, you could have gone on and just added that 4,000 plus 1,000 and gotten 5,000 and just written the answer out in the previous step instead of adding from left to right. So that's if you want to just skip that step, and that's fine. But if you feel like you want to have those zeros so that you can just compress and pop the bubbles, that's cool too. Okay, so lastly is the 3 by 3 example. Now, this is going to take up some space, so I'm going to write conservatively. So we are doing 646 times 712. Okay, now, if you can see, this is a 3 by 3, so that means that we're going to have a perfect square, perfect box. 3 rows and 3 columns. I'm going to write 646 expanded on top because we can do that. So 600 plus 40 plus 6. Remember, the commutative property says it doesn't matter which order you multiply something in, just as long as you're multiplying it, you're going to get the same answer. And then 712 on the side, 700 plus 10 plus 2, okay? Okay, let's go. Multiplying time. We're doing 600 times 700. First of all, look at all those zeros. That's 4 zeros already, minus the zeros that we might get when we multiply, or the place values we might get. So 6 times 7 is 42. So let's write 42 here. 600 times 700. It's a big number. So let's write those zeros. We got 4 zeros to write. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is actually 420,000. Got it? All right, now we're doing 40 times 700. So let's do 4 times 7, that's 28. Now let's put those zeros. 1, 2, 3 zeros. Okay, 28,000. Now let's do 6 times 700, which is going to give us 42 with 2 zeros, so that's 4,200 or 4,200. All right, next row. 600 times 10 is 6 times 1, which is 6, and then put the zeros, so 3 zeros, 6,000. 600 times 2 is 1,200. So 6 times 2 is 12. 600 times 2 is 1,200. And we got 3 digits, and we got more than 3 digits, so we put the comma right before those 3 digits. All right, next we have our 40 times 10, and 4 times 1 is 4, so 40 times 10, we put those 2 zeros, is 400. 40 times 2, that is, 4 times 2 is 8, 40 times 2 is 80. 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 2 is 12. All right, guess what time it is? It's time to add. So we're adding everything, guys. We just adding all this stuff. We need space. Plus, 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 plus. We forgot a plus. Okay, adding time. Okay, let's add. So let's start with the biggest number, 420,000. So big. 420, comma, 000. All right, what's the next biggest number? 28,000. So we're lining it up, lining it all up. What's the next biggest number? Well, we're mostly looking for the next biggest place value, and the next biggest place value is the thousands place. I just dropped my pen. 1 second. Small space right here. You can't really tell, but it's not a lot of space. Okay, so the thousands place, let's just start with 4,200. Then we can go with 6,000. Then 1,200. Okay, that's all for the thousands place. How about the hundreds place? That's next. So we got 400. And then the tens place is next, which is 60, 80, and 12. So just make sure we have them all. We got a 3 by 3 box. So that means 3 times 3, which is 9, right? So we have 9 numbers total. Do we have 9 numbers here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, we do. So let's get to adding. All right, so we're adding from left to right, remember. I'm gonna write that up here, left to right. Our leftmost place value is the 100,000s place. 4 is in a 100,000s place, so that is going to be 400,000. I'm actually going to write that up here because, you know, the space issue. 400,000. So the next place value is the 10,000s place, and we have 2 2s. So let's just add those 2 together. That's going to give us 40,000. And then the next place value is the 1,000s place. So let's add that up. So we have these numbers right here, which is 8 plus 4, 12. 12 plus 6 is 18. 18 plus 1 is 19. So that's 19,000. And that 19,000 actually now carries over to the 10,000s place because 19 is 10 plus 9. So we're writing our 1 in the 10,000s place and 0, 0, 0. Next is the 100s place. So the 100s place is right here. And we have 2 plus 2 plus 4. So that's 4 plus 4, which is 800. So then we have the tens place, go all the way down to the bottom, and we have 60 plus 80 plus 10, and that's going to give us 150. Okay, 150. So that bleeds over to the hundreds place too, because we have big numbers that are really close to 100, so it's going to kind of tip over 100. And then in the ones place, we have 2. Okie doke. So we are adding from left to right again. Just keep on doing it until you get all nothing but zeros besides the number that's in that place value. Or you can just add down. Let's do that. Let's just add down instead of um, getting nothing but zeros, so that we can skip a step, because first of all, this is already long, and then I already did those problems where I just kept adding down till I got nothing but zeros. So let's see what it's like to not do that and to skip that step. Okay, so going from left to right still, we have 4 in the 100,000s place. In the 10,000s place, we got 4 plus 1, so that is 5. In the thousands place, we just have 9. In the hundreds place, let's put our comma because we're going to the hundreds place. Hundreds place, we have 8 plus 1, so that's 9. Tens place, we have 5, and ones place, we have 2. All right, that's the answer. We didn't have to do any carrying. We didn't have to mix our operations, because I know for me, man, if I gotta multiply, then I have a 1 carried over or a 5 carried over. I usually just go ahead and multiply that. I had to really train myself to remember, oh yeah, I gotta add and not multiply. So we don't even have to deal with that here. We're just multiplying regular numbers, okay? So, and then just putting zeros at the end. Isn't that much easier? You choose what works best for you, but for me, I love this way. I can see it in my brain when I'm not looking at paper, and it helps me to just stay organized, okay? So let me know what you think about this method. Do you use this method? Do you like this method better than what you're using now? What are you using now? And will you start implementing this method in the way you do multiplication? Because remember, you can do it for so many um, different size numbers. You saw me do 1 digit, 2 digit, and 3 digit all mixed up. And you can do it long ways or tall ways. Hi. So and you see we're getting big numbers, big answers, and we are just adding it when we're done, okay? Love it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe for more easy to implement videos and tutorials. And also, don't forget about my word problem Wednesdays. Every other Wednesday, I do a word problem, but I still do have the worksheet that you can download at the bottom of this, in the description of this video, so that you can practice this method on your own. There are 3 questions on that worksheet. I'm going to mix them up among the different digits so that you can have experience doing different types and different levels. And if you want, you can also try the skill builder, which has more example problems, more exercises, and fewer problems, okay? So go ahead and download your 3-question worksheet, practice sheet, and watch some of my other videos. I will see you next time. Bye.